Have you ever wondered how a single epidemic could alter the course of history and test the resilience of a mighty empire? The Antonine Plague, one of the deadliest pandemics of the ancient world, struck the Roman Empire during the reign of Marcus Aurelius, leaving millions dead and shaking the foundations of society. In this video, we'll explore the origins, consequences, and legacy of the Antonine Plague and how it shaped the leadership of Rome's philosopher-emperor. Fascinated by stories of ancient resilience? Subscribe now to uncover more historical insights. The Antonine Plague, which ravaged the Roman Empire from 165 to 180 AD, is believed to have been caused by either smallpox, variola major, or measles, though historians remain divided. Its introduction to the empire is commonly attributed to Roman soldiers returning from campaigns in the east during the Parthian War, led by Lucius Verus. These soldiers unknowingly carried the disease back with them, sparking one of history's most catastrophic pandemics. The disease first appeared in the eastern provinces, rapidly spreading along trade routes and through densely populated urban centers. Roman cities, with their close quarters and bustling markets, became hotspots for the epidemic, allowing the disease to spread with devastating speed. Historians like Aelius Aristides noted how people fled the cities in desperation, only to succumb to the disease before finding refuge. The interconnectedness of the Roman Empire, which was a strength in trade and governance, ironically became a conduit for the pandemic's spread. Soldiers, merchants, and travelers carried the disease across provinces, reaching as far as Gaul and North Africa. This rapid dissemination showcased the vulnerability of even the most advanced ancient civilizations to natural disasters. The arrival of the Antonine Plague marked a turning point for the empire. What initially seemed like an isolated outbreak in the east would soon evolve into a crisis of unprecedented scale, testing the resilience of Rome's institutions, economy, and leadership. Marcus Aurelius would have to confront not only a military threat, but also a devastating epidemic within his borders. The Antonine Plague was one of the most devastating events in Roman history, leaving a profound mark on the empire. The human, economic, and social tolls were immense, shaking the foundations of Roman society. The plague resulted in staggering mortality rates, with historians estimating up to 5 million deaths in an empire of roughly 75 million people. Urban centers were hit hardest due to their dense populations and poor sanitation. Contemporary accounts describe how corpses were piled high in overburdened cemeteries, as the sheer scale of deaths overwhelmed the usual funeral practices. Panic gripped communities, and attempts to flee the cities often proved futile, as travelers carried the disease with them, infecting rural areas. The loss of life extended across all levels of society, from laborers and artisans to soldiers and senators. This demographic collapse weakened the empire's social fabric, leaving farms untended, workshops abandoned, and critical infrastructure neglected. The pandemic created severe economic stagnation. The loss of laborers disrupted agricultural production, causing food shortages and price inflation. Trade networks, essential for Rome's prosperity, were also affected as merchants avoided disease-ridden regions. To cope with the mounting financial strain, the Roman government increased taxes, placing further burdens on an already struggling population. Public works projects slowed or halted altogether, and the overall economic output of the empire declined. This stagnation not only harmed day-to-day life, but also weakened Rome's ability to fund its military and administrative needs. The plague also undermined the military strength of the empire. Roman legions suffered significant losses, leaving the frontiers vulnerable to external threats, such as the Marcomannic invasions. To replenish the depleted ranks, Marcus Aurelius resorted to desperate measures, conscripting gladiators, freed slaves, and even criminals to fill the gaps in the army. These unconventional recruits lacked proper training, which weakened Rome's military effectiveness. The psychological impact of the epidemic cannot be overstated. Fear and uncertainty led to social unrest in many provinces, and some communities even turned to superstition and scapegoating in a desperate attempt to make sense of the crisis. The Antonine Plague was a crisis that tested Rome's resilience at every level. It revealed the fragility of its interconnected society and posed challenges that would have long-lasting effects on the empire's stability and future. Despite these immense hardships, Marcus Aurelius' leadership would be pivotal in navigating the empire through this dark chapter. The Antonine Plague had a profound and far-reaching impact on the Roman Empire, disrupting nearly every aspect of its society. Its effects on the military, economy, and governance revealed the vulnerability of the vast empire to external and internal crises. The Roman army bore the brunt of the plague's impact, suffering significant casualties as soldiers fell victim to the epidemic. This loss of manpower was particularly devastating as the empire faced invasions from the Germanic tribes during the Marcomannic Wars. The weakening of the legions left the frontiers vulnerable and the empire stretched thin. In response, Marcus Aurelius took extraordinary measures to rebuild the army. Gladiators, freed slaves, and even convicted criminals were conscripted to fill the ranks. While these unconventional recruits helped restore troop numbers, their lack of training and discipline weakened the overall effectiveness of the Roman military. The diminished strength of the legions not only affected Rome's ability to defend its borders, but also its capacity to project power. The once dominant Roman army struggled to maintain its reputation as an unyielding force. The plague's economic toll was equally severe. With farms abandoned and workshops empty, agricultural output plummeted, leading to food shortages and rising prices. Trade networks were disrupted as merchants avoided plague-stricken regions, causing a sharp decline in commerce across the empire. The government, desperate to manage the mounting financial crisis, imposed higher taxes to sustain its military and administrative needs. This placed a heavy burden on the remaining population, exacerbating social tensions and unrest. Public works projects, a hallmark of Rome's prosperity, slowed or ceased altogether as resources were redirected to manage the epidemic. The death of Lucius Varus in 169 AD, likely due to the plague, placed the full weight of imperial governance on Marcus Aurelius. As sole emperor, he faced the dual challenge of addressing external threats and managing the internal chaos caused by the epidemic. Despite these immense challenges, Marcus Aurelius showed remarkable resilience and adaptability. His Stoic philosophy helped him remain steadfast during this crisis, and he took decisive action to stabilize the empire. His leadership during the epidemic strengthened his reputation as a philosopher-emperor who could endure and lead in times of profound adversity. In summary, the Antonine Plague weakened the military, devastated the economy, and placed immense strain on Roman governance. It was a pivotal moment in the empire's history, testing its resilience and shaping its future trajectory. The Antonine Plague left an indelible mark on the Roman Empire, reshaping its demographic, economic, and political landscape. Its impact went far beyond the immediate devastation, influencing the trajectory of the empire for years to come. The staggering loss of life, up to 5 million deaths, left the empire severely weakened. Labor shortages disrupted agriculture, trade, and manufacturing, leading to economic stagnation. The loss of tax revenues strained the imperial treasury, while higher taxes imposed on survivors deepened social inequalities and unrest. The plague exposed the vulnerability of even the most advanced ancient societies to natural disasters. The epidemic dealt a heavy blow to Rome's military power. The weakened legions struggled to defend the empire's vast borders, leaving Rome more exposed to external threats. Marcus Aurelius, forced to lead amid these crises, demonstrated exceptional resilience. His reliance on unconventional recruits for the army highlighted Rome's adaptability, but also its fragility in times of crisis. The plague cemented Marcus Aurelius's reputation as a philosopher-emperor who remained steadfast during one of the empire's darkest periods. His Stoic philosophy not only guided his personal response to the crisis, but also inspired his governance. His leadership during the plague became a central part of his legacy, symbolizing strength and endurance in the face of overwhelming adversity. The Antonine Plague serves as a powerful reminder of how interconnected societies are vulnerable to global challenges. It reshaped the Roman Empire, offering lessons about resilience and the importance of strong leadership during crises. What do you think was the most significant consequence of the Antonine Plague? Was it the demographic loss, the economic impact, or the leadership of Marcus Aurelius? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more fascinating insights into ancient history.